Epiphany is an actress and recent graduate of the Institute of Performing Arts at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts.
Like, you could use your voice to be you.
The fight scenes were not in the original script.
And she still got it.
She has sickle cell disease, which causes red blood cells to take on a crescent shape. These cells carry less oxygen and get stuck in veins and arteries, causing intense pain and a host of other complications.
I call myself a sickle cell warrior or sickle cell survivor. We have about 25% less blood running through our veins, and because it's a sickle shape, when it goes through your veins and your arteries, it causes pain and there's less blood going to the organs which need them. My brother and I, we were hospitalized like over 100 times.
They went up the hospital, Westchester Medical Center, the both of them. And the doctor looked at them. They said, "But you guys looking okay, you guys looking fine." And they come home the Thursday, and I come upstairs the Friday morning. My wife said, "Your son is up here sick."
And although sickle cell is undeniably life-threatening, its severity is often underestimated because those who live with the disease may not outwardly appear to be sick.
They were kind of like, okay, yeah, she's fine, she looks fine, so she's fine.
In this season, we'll get to know Epiphany and how she confronts the challenges caused by her rare disease. We'll also learn from several other sickle cell advocates and get an in-depth look at what life is like with this rare blood disorder. Well, how long have you felt that you have been involved with really trying to understand sickle cell? What age did you start thinking about it?
I really started to think about it when I was 10, well, around 9 actually, because they put a life port in me. It's, I can show it to y'all, I really don't care. So it's this like bump. I just went and it's this bump, and then there's a line that goes into one of my main veins. And my veins were shot from all the IVs and all the blood draws. And they were like, you know, Epiphany, we need to introduce more blood into your body. So I would start to get transfusions monthly. So they put the life port in my body because my veins and my arms and the rest of my body was shot. So it wasn't until I started going to the hospital every month to get blood put in me where I was like, okay, like this is serious. Like, I mean, I knew it was serious because I was in a lot of pain, but something really clicked when I had to get someone else's blood introduced into my body on a regular occurrence.
So you knew from an early age.
I remember being like 1 year old taking medicine in my bottle.
Wow. Was it bitter tasting or was it not? Can you remember that part?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it, yes.
Yeah.
I'll read off the list for. Okay, so it's sickle cell, which is, I have SS, and SS is like the full-blown sickle cell. Rheumatoid arthritis, couple of months, almost a year after being diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, I was diagnosed with lupus. But the rheumatoid arthritis was the hardest to diagnose because doctors would be like, it's just your sickle cell pain. And I'm like, no, it's a different sensation. Like, just listen to me. And I would be in and out the hospital, different medicines wouldn't work. And I'm like, it's not my sickle cell because this medicine is not working for it. Finally, with the right person getting the right consult, we got rheumatoid arthritis correctly diagnosed.
What does it feel like over the course of a day? Things that you have to stop and do to keep things on an even keel?
Typical day, let's say if I want to wake up around 10 a.m. to actually start like moving about, I'll set my alarm for like 9 a.m. because I have to wake up and I have to take Allegra for my allergies. I have extreme allergies. I'm not supposed to eat or drink anything but water with Allegra. So, because I tried that once and I thought I was being poisoned. That was horrible. I will do either a easy breakfast, like I'm putting something left over in the microwave, or I'm gonna go buy something. I try to stay away from like acidic stuff in the morning because of my acid reflux and because I just took the Allegra. It's a lot of conflicting medicines. Cooking, it just causes exhaustion for me. So there's a lot of either I'm gonna put something in and it's gonna cook itself, like baked potatoes, which is my favorite, or taking a lot of breaks while I'm cooking. Sometimes to just lay down or go into a cooler bedroom. Usually, I have a lot of clothes hanging up because it's easier for me to put clothes on a hanger than to fold them because of the pain in my hands and my shoulders. So more than likely I'll have hung up something the night before or it's been hanging up and it's already steamed.
Let's say you're going outside to go somewhere. Do you have things you gotta put in your bag to have with you?
No matter what, I have to have like my Motrin on me for when I have pain. And I am also on Tramadol, but it's not like the narcotics I used to take when I was a child, thank God. Summertime, I will bring my visor with me because I'm supposed to stay out of the sun. Being hydroxyurea is a pill form of chemotherapy, and also with methotrexate that I'm taking for my arthritis, I'm supposed to stay away from prolonged sun exposure because then I could get rashes. Water. And as you see, I have a lot of water everywhere. I have to stay hydrated. Bottles that I just finished or haven't finished and so. I always pack water with me. It is like the basis of my life. Sickle cell warriors can get dehydrated very quickly, and I also have to make sure that I can take my medicine at any moment. So I'll make sure that I have my water with me, my asthma pump. I have eye drops. I have dry eyes because of the lupus and the RA, where my eyes can get inflammation.
Why are you doing this?
My eyes are very dry because of the lupus and inflammation. And if too much inflammation builds up, then I could develop eye issues. So my eye, because it's so dry, is not producing tears like it should. So I have artificial tears.
Weird. Is it stress or it's just the lupus acting up?
It's that, yeah. It's basically the lupus and the inflammation. So yeah.
Is this like a once a day thing?
It depends. I haven't been as dry as when they first like told me I should be doing it. So I maybe do it like when needed.
Okay.
Now I'm doing it when needed.
Okay.
Yeah. Also because they're expensive. Like, so.
And anything medically is expensive.
But insurance don't pay for that. Insurance will pay for the one with the preservatives.
Because it's cheaper.
Uh-huh.
You have a lot to keep track of, to make sure that you have it and then when you take it during the day. And so I imagine that can be a challenge, especially if you're rushing and need to get somewhere in a hurry and you have to think for a minute.
When I know I'm like going somewhere, I'll probably leave an extra 30-minute window buffer time because like I don't know if I'm not gonna feel well on my walk where I'm going, but sometimes I'll have excess ride.
Any other obstacles or challenges that are on that kind of daily living basis?
When I was younger, I would be in a lot of pain, and usually distracting myself would help, like, make me feel better. So at night, when you're supposed to cut off all distractions to go to sleep, that's when a lot of the pain will come in. I also have issues now where if I want to cut out all distractions and, like, be quiet to then get my sleep, then sometimes I'll become it feels awkward just talking about it because I'm, like, feeling it right now. Yes, I'll get in a lot of pain, but also since getting arthritis, it's been even more difficult because I didn't sleep on my back because of all my back pain. Like, I've always had back pain with the sickle cell, so I would sleep on my shoulders. But then when I got arthritis, the joints in my shoulders would be on fire. I pulled up the sheet a little bit because I'm very, like, I didn't prove this, but I will. So sleep is, like I said, like, it's a lot. So recently, what I've been doing is I'll either go very flat and sleep on my stomach. So like this with one pillow. Sometimes no pillows. Sometimes on my back, which is great for, like, my shoulders, but sometimes it's bad for my back and vice versa. It depends the pain. So yeah, I don't get much sleep because I'll toss and turn and I'm like, okay, wait, nope, now my shoulder hurts here. Let me lay this way and let me lay that way, and yeah, sleep is annoying. That's where a lot of pain comes in. Yeah.
So basically with sickle cell disease, it's the red blood cell that's affected. Two amino acids switch place, which is thought to have happened over centuries as an autoimmune response to malaria. So everywhere malaria is endemic, sickle cell naturally exists. So it's not just an African disease, it's in the Middle East, it's in the Mediterranean, it's in Central and South America, China, Southeast Asia. So pretty much it's prevalent all over the world, and it came to North America basically through migration, mainly immigration and transatlantic slave trades. When the cell sickles, it drops the oxygen molecule, so you have oxygen deprivation on top of the blood starting to clump together and block the flow through small blood vessels. That's what causes the pain. Inflammation comes from that, and then the inflammation causes pain, and it can happen anywhere in the body, in the muscles, in the bones, arms, the legs, back. Sickling that happens in the brain can escalate to become a stroke. It can happen in the kidneys.
Maybe even brain aneurysms. I have brain aneurysms.
Yeah, and that's because blood flow is being restricted in one way or the other. And the cell walls are being damaged every time the sickle cell rubs up against the endothelial lining of the vein. Because healthy people have a really, really hard time in understanding, particularly the pain issue with sickle cell. Am I not right?
Yeah, and also the part that it's individual, like it's a blood disease, so we can't tell how it's gonna clump in my body next to the next person with sickle cell, and so on and so forth. It's very specific to the individual. We're more susceptible for gaining other illnesses and diseases.
Renal failure, diabetes. So you have complications like avascular necrosis, known as AVN, where the bones of the joints and the hips, the shoulders and knees are being impacted, and they start to deteriorate because they're not getting enough oxygen.
Anytime you have a deprivation of oxygen to any part of the body, it's going to result in severe pain, stroke, necrosis. Necrosis is a term meaning death to a certain part of the body. So there's something called avascular necrosis, which is death to the bones. And so the bones get no oxygen. So these patients will have to get a hip transplant or shoulder transplant because it's a failure of oxygenation to that part of the body.
My left arm, it's hard to go up, but easy to go out. And my right arm is easy to go out, hard to go up. So that's great, isn't it? So when I just did that, my shoulder was like, no. And I had to switch to my right.
You've mentioned words like crisis and triggered. For people out there who wouldn't know what it is, can you talk about it in a way that just gives a definition or something?
Most people with sickle cell, they will have moments where their symptoms are exacerbated, and then that would be a crisis. And within that crisis will come pain, lower hemoglobin, fevers, swelling, tough time breathing. Crisis just means like the disease got exacerbated.
Right. So can you go into a Zen mode and kind of, or do you have no control over these particular?
No, you do not have any control over the crises. There's a lot of things that could trigger it because it's a blood disease and it's hitting everywhere in your body, all your blood.
Right.
But being like cold, because we're anemic, so getting cold can trigger crises. Heat can trigger dehydration, stress.
Hydroxyurea is supposed to help to proliferate the F cells in your bone to produce more F cells or healthier cells. And the other one is Endari. This was just approved, I think, 2 years.
Yeah, July.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's for adult and children. It's to reduce the sickle cell complications. The other thing that's been first is really folic acid. And folic acid is just a simple vitamin that helps to stimulate fetal hemoglobin. Again, fetal hemoglobin helps to protect the cells in terms of the sickling process that might occur. We find that the F cells helps to keep the sickling process down, and that's what these 3 medicines are good for.
I will start with the medicines I've been on the longest. So folic acid, hydroxyurea, omeprazole, which is for acid reflux. Prednisone is a steroid. Hydroxychloroquine, which is a Plaquenil. Methotrexate, my pain medicine, which is Tramadol. Motrin, then vitamin D, calcium. And I do IV treatment of Orencia, which is like in the chemotherapy family. I have an asthma pump that I use as needed. I keep that on me. I have an EpiPen that I have not gotten to use. I hope I never get to use it because my allergies are really bad. Allegra for allergies. These are for arthritis and lupus. Helps with protecting my stomach from other medicines. The steroid is supposed to help with the inflammation. Another arthritis medicine, it's hard to explain methotrexate. It's basically a medicine that's supposed to affect the autoimmune disease. So it's supposed to lower the immune system, which is sucky because I'm not supposed to have a low immune system, but it needs to lower the immune system because the autoimmune disease, you know, it's harsh and it attacks. 2 milligrams once a day, 1,500 tonight, 1,000 tomorrow, 1,500, 1,000, so on and so forth. And I take that at night. Yes, I take this once a week. I would take as needed, at least 800 milligrams a day. I take bright early in the morning, and then I go back to sleep for an hour. Then I can get up and eat. And Allegra, because it's acidity, would cancel out omeprazole, and That's why I don't take them both at the same time. And I've been on this for as long as I can remember. I remember taking it like in my bottles. Some people take it with water, but I could chew them. Like I've gotten used to the folic acid taste. At least the prescription one, because I did chew over-the-counter one before, and I was like, that was nasty. That is my routine. When I was younger, I would find ways to like get out of taking my medicine, or I'd say I took it when I didn't. But when I consistently started to take it, and also just like more just taking care of myself in general, like watching like the activities I do, watching my stress, and has helped me feel better.
My way in which I treat myself is to understand the underlying pressures or precipitating factors that cause the problem. And I think there's about 21 precipitating factors. If you can treat those precipitating factors, such as getting rid of the infection, if you have a sore throat, if you're tired, get some rest, if you're dehydrated, drink some water, the pain and the sickling will subside. And I have shown for my own health, I'm going to be 60 next year, and that I don't take any opioids, but what I do take is take care of myself in taking care of what will precipitate a crisis so that I don't get sickle cell crisis.
We are very fortunate in Q-Skin to have two people who were already cured with sickle cell.
Really?
Yes.
It's cured, but there's nothing left? I mean, there's no rheumatoid arthritis, there's no...
I don't know other side effects, but what I understand is this person, the pain is, you don't enter the pain of going in the hospital frequently with sickle cell. That's my understanding with that. They do have to go back to regular checkup on different other entities,
Well, that's the bone marrow.
The bone marrow transplant,
which is very new,
yes.
And even though we have few people that are living, there's still a lot of debts that's from it. So I think it's a little new. I would recommend that people read and make sure that they understand what they're doing, and make sure they fit the criteria, make sure everything is understood explained to them, and that they understood the risk and the benefits and so forth. But it is out there, and some people may do well, but the evidence show that there's some people that don't do so well with it as well.
Sometimes people would tag me in like posts of like sickle cell's been cured, but it's just the stem cell treatments where they can take someone else's bone marrow and put it into yours. And then there's another one where they actually take the cells and they put it in your body. And because my mom, with her medical background, I just followed her lead and like thinking about all the things she would tell me, like, make sure it's out for however many years, make sure the FDA is behind it, and so on and so forth.
It sounds like priority needs to go to sickle cell.
Oh, they do. 2016, the ASH, that's the American Society of Hematology, thank you. They wrote a very good position paper that said exactly what you just say, that there need to be doctors that are interested and want to learn about sickle cell disease. There need to be more research, there need to be more funding, and there need to be more access to care for patients that have sickle cell disease. So it's upsetting to see just so little things that are being done. And on the grassroots, we do more than the legislators or the policy holders, but we do remind them that we are still here and we're not going anywhere. And it's so little that is done that it breaks my heart sometimes. Not for me, but for people that are really suffering with the disease.